November 19th. The reason we're having it on Tuesday is we just prior to this meeting held a canvass for the election results for Box Elder County, and we're grateful for our county clerk and the great job she does. We had an 88.3% turnout for our election this year, so that's incredible. So with that, we're going to kick the meeting off. We'll have Commissioner Stan Summers office our invocation, followed by which we'll have our Fire Marshal Kevin Lloyd lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Our dear Heavenly Father, as we come before Thee today, we appreciate the fact that we've been able to go through an election cycle and mostly be without incident. We also appreciate living in the land of the free and the home of the brave, and for those people who put their lives on the line so not only this nation but others can be free also. Heavenly Father, we are so grateful for not only Thy Son, but for the experience we have of being here upon this earth. Please bless those people that are in harm's way and those people that have cause to mourn. Have a special blessing upon those people who have lost loved ones that have worked in the county and that have had a hard time this last week by their experiences. Please help us so we may be able to make proper and correct choices in all that we do. Please bless us that while we're gone, that our families will be looked after, and we ask these favors and blessings in my Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
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 Rise for Pledge of Allegiance.
Okay, we are slowly but surely going to try and catch up on our minutes. We've had a lot going on. Our clerk is trying to deal with an election that had overwhelming precedent turnout and more provisional ballots than we've seen in a long time, so she's been really busy, but we did get one set of minutes to approve, so we need to do a motion to approve the minutes from our October 23rd meeting.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion from
If I
Commissioner
was here.
Summers, a motion from Commissioner Summers, a second from Commissioner Bingham. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. All right, one item I will, Janica, did you want to take care of personal action and warrant registers right now? If we could take care of that, if you want to bring those. I know you've got some things you need to take care of upstairs, so if you want to bring those to us. And then we'll take care of that while we're taking care of the personnel action and warrant register. We'll turn the time over to our county attorney to talk about the cell tower lease on the former agenda item.
Yes, Commissioners, as you know, there's been some negotiating going on with the cell tower lease. It's at the fairgrounds. Currently, it's under a 30-year lease that's set to expire January 31st, 2030. We were approached by the cell tower company wanting us to do another 30 years. There was some concern about going that far out. How about 15? Part of the deal was they were going to offer us a bonus of $15,000 if we signed the 30-year lease. We went back and said, how about 15? They came back and said, okay, but we'll only give you half of the 15,000, which is 7,500, which is good, but I don't know how relevant that is. So yesterday she provided us with an agreement, and as I read the agreement, it's essentially an agreement to agree. They want us to sign an agreement saying we will renegotiate the lease. It's really up to you guys whether you want to do that or not. We're in the negotiating process anyway. I'm not sure why we need to agree and then just agree later down the road.
And how much are they paying a year?
They are paying $600 a year, or $600 a month. Is
Okay.
that right? Do you remember, Charlene? $600 a month?
And the new one has increases each year.
They have built-in increases along with that during the 30-year period, right?
Well, according to this agreement to agree, it'll increase on February 1st, 2030 to the amount of $1,800 per month.
And then every year after that.
And that's whether we go half that 15 years or if we do 30. The difference, if we go to 30, we get a $15,000 signing bonus versus a $7,500 signing bonus. Is that right?
Correct. That's great. The other thing that she's added that she would like is a right of first refusal. If we ever decided to sell the tower or rent it to somebody else, they would have the option to do that. I
Okay,
don't see too many issues with that, but.
no problem there.
So it's up to you to decide what you want to do with that. This is here, you could sign it. My recommendation would be, let's just keep negotiating, get a final agreement rather than agree to agree and then agree.
Okay, commissioners, do you have any direction you want to take on the cell phone tower issue? We ought to get it done, though.
I've got some actual property with a cell phone tower on it, and they're paying $800 a month, and it goes up every year also. So I don't know what constitutes them at 6 when this other one's 8. So, I mean, honestly,
Do we want to give them until December 5th to continue to negotiate to see if we can get an agreement in place?
yeah.
Right.
Have one in place that-
Yep, I think so.
So we have one in place for 600, but we could maybe,
This new change will increase it when the current one expires, it'll go up to
1,800.
okay.
In 2030, it'll go up to 18.
In 2030, it will go up to 1,800. So basically, that'd be part of the agreement. So right now, we'd say it's 600 till 2030. In 2030, we would jump to 1,800.
Right.
And you've got one right now that you're getting 800
Yeah.
for how long?
Well, like I said, it increases every year for the next 30 years.
Okay.
So, but
So-
if they'll go up to 20, in 2030, but the $15,000 bonus and then would amortize out, that it would be bigger than that. So I'd actually just say then that would be what we'd do. Just bring it back on the 5th and sign it.
So if you want to bring that forward to us on the 5th, then we'll put it on the agenda to take care of it at that
The
point.
renegotiated one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And 15 years or 30, or what are you thinking?
Commissioner Bingham, do you have a preference on 15 or 30 years?
Yeah, I don't really, haven't seen the numbers on how much it's gonna go up every year. I guess we'd have to just sit down and look at the numbers.
He just
Okay.
told us.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
gonna go up every year. It'll be $600 a month until 2030, then it goes up to $1,800 a month.
So it's not going to go up every year. It's going to be, we'll stay at 600 for the next 6 years, and then we'll jump to $1,800 a month going forward after that for the next 30 years.
If we go 30.
So,
Yeah, or 15,
What hap-
depending what we do.
so what happens if we just wait? I mean, why if we have a contract till 2030, why are they wanting to do this right now?
They're telling us they want to do it because they have people that want to put on the tower and they want longer commitment than just another 4 years or 5, 6 years? So that's why they're doing it.
So that means more income for them at the same cost to us, right?
No, but they give us a $15,000 bonus for signing it up.
Yeah.
So amortize that over the next however many years. It up bumps that $600 up by that.
I think that's what the $1,500 bonus they're trying to give us now to sign on would be. I don't know how much that would, $15,000 be over 6 years. If that's, anyway, that's if we go.
8 months.
Yeah, it'd be over those months, so, can we bring back both a 30-year and a 15-year resolution for the 5th and make the determination which one we want to sign at that meeting?
We can. Basically, what I would intend is just to have an agreement ready to go. We'll talk to them and have an agreement ready to go.
Okay,
It's easier if we know the
Okay.
terms.
That's an extra $208 a month for the next 72 months.
so in other words, they've said, they're putting an extra $200 a month on, kind of matching where yours is at.
Right.
Okay,
I'm good either way. However you
All
want to do it.
so if you want to bring back a renegotiated contract for
Okay,
that
we can
next
do that.
December 5th meeting, that would be great.
For 30 years.
Oh, the 4th of December. Okay, yes, it is 4th of December. So we'll plan for that 4th of December meeting to have that project. Okay. All right,
Before you move on,
Yes.
future agenda items.
yes,
Thatcher Penrose Fire Department.
yes.
I don't know, Kevin, have you talked to Chisholm? Kevin? Have you talked to Chisholm from Thatcher Fire Department? So they've lost their funding. That was basically illegal to fund them in the first place. And now that has been mandatory through the state, mandated through the state, we need to find a way to put them into the budget, whether it's through the fire district or whatever we got to do. So they take care of 900 square miles of the west unincorporated. So I told Chisholm to come get on the thing for December 4th with all of the information, what his budget is and things like that. But we've got to have a placeholder, Charlene, for that because it's funded. I mean, it's mandated by the state that's a,
Looking to finalize the budget by the 4th, so if I could have some numbers ahead.
okay. So will you get a hold of Chisholm and get them to Charlene? Okay. And that happened yesterday, so just letting you know.
Okay, so We'll deal with that in the future. Then, any other things we need to do on former or future agenda items? Okay, nothing on emergency management. We're gonna go to our Box Elder County employee
I
recognition.
was gonna just say something. Hey, I haven't been here for the last 3 months, so I've been AWOL. My son had a grand mal seizure, and so I haven't been here.
Okay, so we're gonna move on to our Box Elder County employee recognition. Again, we got a great recommendation, a great nomination here today. So the nomination, I'm gonna read it to us, and we'll invite her to come forward here and receive her certificate. The person nominated, the employee is Miranda Martinez, sitting on the back row back there. She's a part-time employee that cleans the historic courthouse and has substituted in cleaning the justice court offices too, while we've been shorthanded here in the county. She's been pulling down double duty and sometimes triple duty to help keep things clean. She helps out while we had another employee that was out for maternity leave. Never complains about any of the assignments she's asked to do. She's dependable and goes well above and beyond to help staff members here in the courthouse and in the building she works in. She takes great care in making sure people who are sensitive to smells have fragrance-free supplies, and she goes to great effort to make sure that they are kept from anything that might be harmful to them. Most people probably sometimes don't even know Miranda's name, but they see her in the building and are grateful for the service that she provides. We really appreciate Miranda, and I can tell you that it's neat. When I see her here in the evening, she just goes about and gets things done and is always asking, how do you want this done, or how do you want something taken care of? And as I was talking about presenting this certificate today to Miranda, I talked to several folks here in the building, and everyone said this is the perfect choice for the person during the month of November to recognize our Employee of the Month. So I know she has a daughter with her, and if you want to bring her up too, that's fine. If you want to leave her back there, you can. But Miranda, we'd like to have you come forward and be recognized as our Employee of the Month for the month of November. You got a phone, Chrissy? One of you.
Three, two, one. Got it.
Okay, this is for you. Thank you, Miranda. We truly appreciate all of our employees, but I can tell you there are some, like I said, Miranda's one of those that goes way above and beyond, and we're truly grateful to have her here working with us, so. All right, that takes us to our next item under our agenda. So we'll move that item 13, and we will go to the fire department. So if you want to come up, Kevin, with your guests, we'll do the two items on there for item 13, the approval to use Gov funds for grant writing and search of grants to cover solo rescue, Deacon Wash and extractor for the firefighter equipment, and then we'll talk about the increase to state land and forestry, so. Just remember, as you speak into the mic, make sure the mic's right there in front of you, and speak loudly, introduce yourselves as you speak.
Doing this one first, right? Okay.
Yeah, we'll hurry and do this one first.
Okay, so I'm asking you guys for permission to go with Gov funds, looking to,
You need to pull that mic up next to you.
oh, Kevin Lloyd, Box Elder Fire
There you
Marshal,
go.
sorry, before you remind me. So yeah, I'm looking to work with Gov funds. They require me to get permission from you guys to do this. I'm trying to build a mobile wash, firefighter turnout SCBA wash trailer. With all the carcinogens these days that firefighters deal with, we really need to wash turnouts properly. A lot of these departments out here don't have the proper machine to do it, the extractor to pull that. There's a new one out with Solo Rescue. It's this SCBA cleaner. It's a washing machine for air packs, helmets, boots, gloves, all that fun stuff. That's one thing that we don't do in the fire service. We are really good at cleaning ourselves, cleaning our trucks, cleaning our turnouts, but we never touch our air packs. This is a fairly new machine out. It's NFPA approved, 1851, 52. So it's about $40,000. GovFund's been working with, they are very positive that we are gonna be able to get this all through the grant.
Okay. So you just need our permission to go forward with working with Gov Funds to try and get that grant funding to get this. And this would be a machine that could be used by not just the county, but other fire departments within the county, correct?
Within the county, and it can even go bigger if we need it to.
Okay.
It could even go onto hazmat.
Okay, commissioners, do we want to give them approval to continue to work with Gov Funds for grant writing in order to purchase this decon
So
washer?
moved.
Have a motion from Commissioner
Second.
Summers, second from Commissioner Bingham. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion passes. So let's go to the next item for fire, dealing with the cooperative wildland hire system participating.
Okay, good morning, I'm Tracy Swenson. I am the area manager for the Bear River Area Forestry, Fire and State Lands Division under DNR. I'm here today to just give you some updates on the the Cooperative Wildfire System, CWS. The background in that is it started in 2016. This is the third agreement period we're coming into in 2025 with the county. The county has been active for all those years and has been up to date on meeting their commitments to it. The purpose of it is to reduce the hazard of wildfires for the citizens of Box Elder County through different methods. It's an in-kind work with a monetary value, so we give a monetary value to what the hazards are within the county, and then the county provides work through 3 different categories: mitigation of fuels, preparedness, and prevention to meet that value of it. So the state of Utah then by staying in good standings within CWS for the county, the state of Utah then picks up the cost of large wildfires within the county area. That's the kind of symbiotic relationship between us. So you do those work and then we pick up those costs. There has been some changes to the program, and I wanted to go over those for sure today. That was an important part of it. So the participation commitments, the 3 categories, they used to have percentages that you could do each year. Those percentages are now gone, which opens it up to a little more kind of subjective view of what we really need within the county, whether it's really fuels mitigation or is it, preparedness or prevention or a combination of those. So that helps out overall for all the entities. I don't necessarily think this applies to Box Elder County, but also you could pay directly the monetary value to the state, and then the state would take that money and put it into projects. The projects may or may not be within the county though, so just know that. That direct payment can be in whole or in partial to the amount that we're putting on the contract or on the agreement. And then kind of the big part of it is that the PC calculations, participation commitment, have been done wrong by us. We own that for the entirety of the program until this year, and those math mistakes were figured out and changed, and that also changed your amount of commitment fairly significantly. Last year, the commitment was about $750,000 roughly. It's $1.3 million for 2025. So that's significant. We understand that's significant, especially right in the middle of your budget cycle. And so I wanted to present that to you. We would still like to partner with the county. I think there's good work going on with the county, and it meets the intent of the overall law. So that's what I came to present, and then I can turn it over to questions.
Have you got
these
the
guys.
reason for the almost double-digit increase?
The reason, it's kind of twofold. One of it was the calculations were done wrong. So the calculations were bringing in federal acres into the calculations. So the division of it is now without the federal acres, and dividing by a lower number brings a bigger sum to it. And then also just the CPI, the interest rate has gone up for it also, that we do on an annual basis.
So just to give some historic background paperwork that they submitted to us as a commission, in 2016, even though the numbers were done wrong with the federal, The nominal fire suppression cost in 2016 was 2.9 million, or the real fire suppression cost was 2.9 million. There was just over $500,000 in 2017, almost $4 million in 2018, about $3 million in 2019, and almost $2 million in 2020. It did drop in 2021 and 2022, 2023, but we have had historic huge fires because of the size of our county. So really, this is a fire insurance policy as far as our county is concerned because of the size and shape of our county. If we had wildland fire, what we would have to pay out as a county. So if we do this work, along with our roads department, different folks, we can mitigate this cost for the state to contribute and pay for the fire
Has
service.
there ever been anybody that actually wrote a check to you, even though you just said that?
This is the first year that that's available to any of the participating entities, so as of yet, no, but I expect some.
And then you said you couldn't guarantee them being spent in that county, so why would they just write
Well,
you a check?
your county's a bit of an anomaly because it has such a huge number, but there's a lot of entities that have a few $100s as their participation commitment. So to them, going out and trying to do 1 acre of work for $500 versus writing a check, could help. And I'm
Would be like a city, not a county,
a
right?
city. Yeah, the counties all have fairly large numbers for sure, but
Yeah.
we do municipalities also within this, so, yeah.
So Darren, just make sure that we put that CPI into everything we do when it comes to this stuff. So make sure we put everything up double when we're out on graders and everything else. If it's okay for the state to do that to us, it's okay for us to do that to the state. So,
Okay, any other questions? Commissioner Bingham, do you have any questions on this cooperative wildland fire system agreement?
Nope. No, I understand it.
Okay. Anything else you want to contribute, Kevin? Nope. Okay. We'd take it back to the commissioners to approve the increase to the state or accepting the current CWPP program.
I'll make a motion, we accept the current CWPP program.
I'll second it.
Okay, have a motion from Commissioner Summers, a second from Commissioner Bingham to accept the current CWPP program. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion passes. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, Tracy.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, we'll move on to item number 8. It's our public interest presentation. It's a property tax question about the tithing building recently purchased by Susan Edert at the Fine Arts Center. So, Susan, if you want to come up. Yes, I actually did during the previous, where we said we're going to do that in December, so we're not going to do it. Yeah, so we'll actually add it to the December meeting.
So my name is Susan Neidert, and I brought my assistant, my new assistant, Lisa Wyatt, with me today. The Fine Arts Center is celebrating 25-plus years of offering nonprofit services in the arts to this community. In the last 5 to 6 years, we've served 8,000 to 10,000 people a year in programs and services, and our goal is to empower lives through the arts. We are located at 58 South, 100 West in Brigham City, and we've done a lot of work over the years to improve that as a really good, valuable building for doing the arts services that we offer. We, in this point of time, were offered a chance to negotiate with our neighboring property. It was it's a vacant lot. It was gutted 3 years ago, and we were working with the Larson family and their Brigham Rentals. And we signed a letter of intent with them a year and a half ago, and it took a year for them to get around to it. So they technically said they were donating the building, but we were paying a $40,000 debt that they had to help them make it possible for us to take over the building. And it took them, we were ready in December, and it took them 4 months to get around to doing that stuff. They have a lot of different businesses. So at that point, they offered us a quit deed, and we took the quit deed, and we gave them the $40,000. It took another 2 months, and we did not become official owners of the property till June 27th of this year. And we got our tax information about the property. It was valued at $344,000, and the taxes would normally be $3,100 a year. We as a tax exempt agency that we have been, We appreciate the fact that the property tax is waived for nonprofit tax exempt organizations. We honor that and appreciate, we feel like we're doing a lot for the county in what we're doing, so. But we did get a statement for that property for the first half of the year when we were not owners. And so I now have a bill for $1,594.89 that is still due, and because I am the owner of the building, they want me to pay that tax. And so it was suggested we talk to you. I don't know as a tax exempt agency if that could be waived or not. We're at your mercy, but, you know, we are working really hard to save funding, to make good use of that property. We'll be demolishing the building. We're trying to find ways to preserve things that could be preserved, and do things that will help us for the Fine Arts Center. We are so busy and so full, we're like packed to the brim, and extra space to build more classrooms and maybe a slightly larger theater are all in our goals. You have a little paper we passed out about what we've done this last year and where we're at. But anyway, we're here to ask what you think about waiving the tax.
For the first 6 months of the year, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So if I could have our treasurer come up and just explain to us so we understand kind of what happened here with the quitclaim deed and this process. I mean, if the Larson family, if you could have worked it out and paid their $40,000 debt, you may have had it in January and been able to solve this, but it sounds like there's been some other things, right? I mean, if all the paperwork had been done when you were trying to purchase it back in December, you would have been on the roll in
We would have
January.
owned the property in January.
Right,
It
but
was
yeah,
just
okay.
a matter
So
of-
we'll just have our treasurer explain to us the process so we understand what's going on here. So, Sean, if you'll.
Sean Thornley, County Treasurer. So when a property goes from taxable to exempt partway through the year, I receive that information from the county assessor's office, and then I'll go in and make an adjustment so that the property is only taxed for the portion of the year that it was actually legally taxable, and not for the part that was exempt. The county commission certainly has the authority to ask me to remove a tax if they feel like it's in the best interest of the county.
Okay. And just so, for Susan, was the bad debt taxes or was it something else? Do we know? Can you answer? Do you know what the bad debt was that you were paying?
Well, I know that they didn't call it bad debt, they just said their expenses. They gutted the building 3 years ago, and they kept coming back doing pieces, and that's what they proposed to us.
Okay.
And, you know, for us to be able to someday expand and have that property, plus, we signed a letter of intent, we've been taking care of that property for a year and a half.
Okay.
So, I guess 40,000 sounded like the best deal we could get to expand our footprint and be able to offer more services in the future.
Okay.
They didn't explain anything.
Just clarify, you don't know that, Sean, if that bill, that you don't know if that tithing building was behind on taxes, do you? By any, I'd assume it would have come up when you saw the letter, but I don't know that it was.
It would have, and I don't recall that it was behind on its taxes.
Okay, that's good to know.
They're a big business. They're all over the place.
Okay.
300.
All right, we'll bring it back to the commissioners to have a discussion or take any action they choose as necessary.
I'd actually make a motion, we take care of that $1,500 because it was well intended of what you were trying to do to get it done at the first of the year. And I wouldn't have a problem with removing that $1,500 in tax because it was should have been done by the first of the year instead of halfway through the year. So I'd make a motion that we remove that $1,500 of tax and waive that.
Okay,
I just have, we have, talking about truth and taxation, and people are up in arms about that, and it just causes me a little bit of quandary.
okay, well, I'm gonna make I'll make a second on it first so we can have a discussion. So go ahead with your discussion, Commissioner Bingham.
Well, I'm not sure it's the county's fault that this is the problem, and we have responsibilities for the county, and we're taxing others to bring in more money, and now we're forgiving it. Just doesn't seem to equate to me.
Okay, so we have a motion on the table with a second to remove the $1,500. We could have a substitute motion, or we could take a vote on that motion. Is there something you'd rather do, Commissioner
You have
Bingham?
a first and a second, so you have to call for a vote.
Okay, well, we'll call for the vote on the question at this point, if we should remove the $1,500 tax, as has been explained to us here on that motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Nay.
Okay, motion passes with one no vote. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate this.
All right. We'll go on to our county attorney's office. We have an agreement, 2441, to hire Laney Huff as the contracted public defense attorney for the Box Elder Drug Court. Go ahead. Oh, is it going to be
There's
Mr.
a correction.
McGinnis?
It was shown as the attorney's office, but it's really not the attorney's office. It's doing
Right.
this.
Okay, so yeah, we're going to have Mike McGinnis talk to us about this contract.
Yes, Mike McGinnis from the Public Defender's Office. We have a new attorney for the drug court program. Obviously, the Lane Huff, she's just hired, started last week. We're excited to have her. We just asked the commission to go ahead and approve that contract.
I'll make a motion to approve that contract.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion from Commissioner Bingham, a second from Commissioner Summers. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion passes. Just for clarification, this is a local person from Box Elder County that we've hired here, so that's kind of exciting. So
Correct. Yep.
we're not bringing somebody from outside. This is somebody who's gone and got her degree here in Box Elder County and been through the process. So let's go to the next one. The agreement is 2440 to hire John Rogers as the contracted public defense attorney for the district court.
Yes, same situation. We had another public defender leave. This is not a new position. So we reached out and hired Mr. Rogers, or offered him the contract. We'd like to go ahead and get him started on December 1st when the other attorney leaves. So we would like to go ahead and get his contract approved by the commission.
Okay?
So moved.
Have a motion from Commissioner Summers, a second from Commissioner Bingham to approve agreement 2440 to hire John Rogers. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
This has been an uphill battle to make sure we got public defenders and getting those taken care of, so we appreciate that. Now, we'll take a motion. I think what we need to do is go into RDA, deal with the RDA, and then come back into the auditor's office portion, since it'll be the auditor talking in both of them here. So I would take a motion to go into RDA.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion, Commissioner Summers, second from Commissioner Bingham to go into RDA. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion passes. We're good to go? All right, we're going to go back into the auditor's office and the report. Prior to her giving the presentation on the resolutions, we need to adopt the tentative budget previously presented in the commission meeting, in our previous commission meeting. So I would accept a motion to accept the tentative budget that was presented in the previous commission meeting.
I'll make a motion to adopt the tentative budget that was approved in our previous commission meeting.
Okay, I'll second it. Motion from Commissioner Bingham, second from Commissioner Perry. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed?
Nay.
We have one no. Motion passes to accept the tentative budget. So with that, we will go to item A, the resolution 2418 for property tax increase from the general fund.
Okay, so for this resolution, we are proposing the certified rate that we've had for the county has been .0012. And with our intended increase, it'll go to .001371. It'll mean an increase in tax revenue of $1,145,000, or a 12.54% increase for the coming fiscal year 2025.
Okay. And on that resolution, part of the reason we know we have a $500,000 increase this year in just insurance costs to our county alone. And then also, looks like we're probably going to have about $800,000, between $400,000 and $800,000 that we have to turn back in for centrally assessed taxes that the state's saying that Ruby River Pipeline paid too much on, along with other costs that have been incurred. That's the reason for that. And then we've been working on modifying the budget to hopefully cut out things that won't be quite as high, because the original resolution was going to be for over 21%. So with that, I'd put it before the commissioners to adopt Resolution 2418 for a property tax increase as explained by our county auditor.
So moved.
I'll second it. So we have a motion from Commissioner Bingham, a second from Commissioner Perry. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All in favor, all opposed, say no.
No.
Okay, motion passes with 2 yes votes, 1 no vote. Go on to Resolution 2419 for property tax increase for the library fund.
Okay, the certified rate for the library has been 0.000093, and we're taking that to 0.000102. It'll generate the amount of $40,000 in additional revenue, or a 10.14% increase for the fiscal year 2025.
Okay, any discussion to that? If not, I would entertain a motion to adopt Resolution 2419 for a property tax increase for the library fund.
So moved.
Have a motion from Commissioner Summers.
I'll second it.
Have a second from Commissioner Bingham. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion passes. All right, that takes us to our public hearing for our 2025, let's see, no, do we, what's that? Oh, the court, right here. So we're going to discuss the tentative budget, again, some of the changes to the budget that have occurred since our previous budget hearing that we've had. Maybe.
There,
Looks like we're getting closer.
okay. So, based on the reduction in increase in income tax, we've.
Property tax, right?
Property tax, sorry, yes. Which this states the change, so we're going down to an increase of $37.14 per year, increase to residential, and a 67.52 increase for a business. And also with the reduction in the library, that's only going to be a 2.53 increase for a home, and $4.60 for the businesses that are serviced by the bookmobile. As part of that, to reduce some costs, we did take our cost of living adjustment down to 3%. And also the commissioners have decided to freeze their salary with no % increase for their positions. The other things we have cut, we did cut purchasing a bookmobile next year. We also cut search and rescue, building addition and reskinning, and they also removed one fleet vehicle from their request. Those are the major changes that we have, and we're still working on final numbers as far as reducing, so.
Okay. So we continued to cut and find places that we can make modifications and adjust in the budget as presented. All right. Okay. And that actually covers both our library budget as well as our general budget, where we're at with the tentative budget, still moving forward, having not adopted the actual budget at this point until a future meeting on either December 4th or December, I believe, 18th or 17th. So what's that? So at this point, I'm going to open up for a public hearing to discuss any questions anybody has about the tentative budget that we've just been
Before we
presented.
open it up, Shirlene, have we got any new numbers on the new taxes coming in off that 3% or off the two things?
The estimate is 3 million, but we're not receiving anything until the first of the year. That was an
Yeah.
estimate from the tax commission
Okay.
based on our previous sales numbers in the county.
Okay.
Okay, so it's open for public comment on the budget items that we just presented. Anyone want to discuss, anyone from the budget, the committee, the public that would like to make comment?
Deanna Hardy Brigham. We appreciate you not doing the full increase, but still 12.54% is still quite a bit. There's people who are living on fixed incomes that will not be able to handle this. The bookmobile does need to go to the free market. We need to stop forcing people to pay for other people's books. You do need to stop forcing us to pay for books that are immoral or the history is distorted or rewritten. I don't think it was really good for you to continue to take the cost of living at 3%. We're not getting a cost of living. We just keep getting taxed, and our fees increased constantly. I know there's a lot more things that you can do. I've been here 14 years. I've seen this county grow in size and cost in government. I have been a strong advocate for us to reduce the size and cost, but I continually get ignored. I know there's a lot we can do to restore this government back to its limited and proper role, and we need representatives who truly believe in our Constitution, who are willing to follow the rules of the Constitution and live by them. So I ask you again to look at what you're doing and go over everything, and what can go back to the free market should go back to the free market. We should stop being involved in public-private partnerships that is involved in our redevelopment department. We need to go back to putting this government where it should be. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public?
Yeah, my name is Jeff Sanders from Bothwell, and I want to thank the commission for accepting the proposal on the increase for the library fund for the bookmobile. I am in support of the bookmobile along with my entire family that has used it for the entire time that we have been living in the county, which is over 8 years. We've always lived in rural, unincorporated, so access to the bookmobile has been essential for my kids learning and growing. And just wanted to thank you for doing that and give my support to the bookmobile.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Bruce Royer. I just live here in town. I'm new to this process here, recently moved up from southern Utah, down where Phil Lyman was deprived of his rightful run for the governorship. Looking at the numbers prior to this, I'm a little confused, and maybe I'm reading things wrong, but it looks like the current starting salary for clerks, assessors, whatever, is around $112,000 per year. I know you're not supposed to answer questions, but if I believe that's correct. I called a couple of my school teacher friends here in town that have been teaching for several years. They've gotten college degrees, they get yearly training, they do what they can, they deal with kids day in and day out, making $50,000 to $60,000 a year. And yet county employees that are being paid to do public service are making nearly double that. That just doesn't seem right to me. I know you're not going to go in, you're not going to cut salaries. Government people don't do that because they make too many enemies when they do that. But I really think, and I do appreciate the fact that you left your salaries the same for next year. And I actually had one person I talked to that defended your salaries, which amazed me that $66,000 is more than I've ever made in a single year as a school teacher, as being self-employed. In fact, that's double than what I've probably averaged over the last 30 years. And that for that to be your part-time salary still is amazing to me. I just think you need to look at the number, realize that, those of us on fixed income, I'm making about $1,100 a month. I'm really bringing it in on my Social Security. And so when you jack up taxes by 12% or 2%, I'm not getting those same adjustments in my income. I really wish you'd look at those numbers and make more of an effort to understand the people you're dealing with. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public? Not, I entertain a motion to close public comment.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion from Commissioner Summers, a second from Commissioner Bingham to close public comment. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion passes. All right, that'll close our public hearing on our budget, or tentative budget going forward at this point. I will just point out that we're continuing looking at the costs that occur, and we do see, we're comparing ourselves to other places that have the similar type of employment, similar type of jobs, working with our HR department when it comes to those issues. So it's something we're continuing to look at to try and figure out those numbers the best way we can. And like I said, as you see, we've already made some changes, made some cuts. We're going to continue to work with our auditor to find other places to try and make modifications, if at all possible, as we go forward. As far as the bookmobile is concerned, we did at our public truth and taxation meeting, had a lot of people who came who didn't support the bookmobile, but since then, we've had numerous emails and letters sent to us of people who do support the bookmobile and would like to see it in place. So one of the things we're going to work on and proposing is, and it only impacts the people who live in certain areas, unincorporated in areas where the bookmobile actually serves. So we're going to work with our bookmobile to do some sort of a system where we can reach out and make sure the people who are being taxed for it can have a determination. We won't be able to hold a special election, but we're hoping to do some sort of a special way of tracking it so we get good, accurate numbers to find out from those who are using the service and who are taxed for the service if they would like to see the service continued. And we hope to get that done in the next year as a commission so we can decide what the best purpose moving forward with the bookmobile is as we put it out to the public that is impacted and pays for it. So we'll be working on that going forward in the next year, I'm sure, or a year and a half. So as we go forward and work on that budget.
And I know we're not supposed to reply, but I actually believe you're right. I think that the state legislature needs to start looking at fixed incomes, and I think they need to freeze taxes as soon as somebody is retired, and veterans, and not be able to do that. And I also think they need to go on a rolling system when it comes to taxes on your homes instead of just every 5 years. I think you need to go to a 10-year rolling system and be able, because the swings are way too much. We've gone to a 40 to 50 to 60 to 100% income off the last few years, and then we're going to go back as soon as this, the inflation's gone. But you're going to take, another 4 years before it goes back down to where it needs to be. So, if I were you, I'd get a hold of your state legislators and talk to them about something of that effect, about freezing taxes for people that are on fixed incomes, and so that way the school districts and us can't pick in your pocket every time we need to turn that around. So I appreciate those comments. And as for the bookmobile, it's been around for, 35 years? 65. Well, 60, yeah, and been a part of the county. The state had it for a while, and then the county took it over. It's just a way to be able to get to those places that don't have access. And you want to talk about a shoestring budget. Those guys, my dad always used to say that we have done so much with so little for so long, and they now have the ability to do anything with nothing. And those guys are amazing at what they do for our kids and their impact that they have on lives in rural that don't have access to these things. So I really appreciate their efforts and the county's efforts. And I've been inundated with emails and phone calls and stuff saying no to the taxes to the county, but yes for the bookmobile. So you can see the priorities for the children or what is really going on. So thanks.
Okay. Any other discussion there? If not, we'll move on to the commission items on the agenda here. We have, starting with A, our 2025 holiday schedule. Chrissy?
Okay, Chrissy Bennett, Commission Secretary. This is the 2025 holidays that will be recognized by the county. And then I have the 2025 meeting schedule. And I have the 2025 landfill schedule, the days that they'll be closed and the days that they'll be closing early at 3 p.m.
Do you need to roll this up? Have you got them to where? You can show them or not?
Oh, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
They were sent out to us, so we did get them sent out. Was there any, what were the changes, if there was any changes?
The only one that I was concerned about was Juneteenth,
Okay,
and that is on a Thursday, June 19th. The county chooses, I'm not exactly sure, it's in the,
we're actually following state, what the state's done.
is that the hand, yeah.
So we've been following the state. So whatever the state of Utah chooses to pick, so if it falls on a Thursday, if they pick a Friday or a Monday to take off, that's the day we would take off. Generally,
is
it's the same as the state because we do run the state DMV office.
And that is what it's on there for June 16th. That's a Monday.
So is the state of Utah choosing to sell it, to do it on the June 16th, I assume?
Yeah, well, that Jenica said. So
Okay.
I just went with Jenica.
Yep. We'll verify, but yeah, as of right now, tentatively, we would.
We can change it.
The Juneteenth, we would change that if necessary, but we would follow
But the
whatever the
land-
state date. the state-
Landfill is following the federal holiday. So
Okay.
they will, because they don't really have the same holidays as we do.
Right.
So they'll actually be closing early on that Thursday and working a full day on that Monday.
On that Monday. Okay.
But that was the only holiday that was,
The only one that's
And
changed.
they're open every Saturday now too, so people can quit
Yes.
hollering and,
and that is every Saturday, and I think it's pay once every Saturday, but they close at 3:30, 3 o'clock.
yep.
That is also on there. And then on the meeting schedule, it was proposed that you change commission meeting to the second and fourth Wednesday of every month.
Except for when we get to November and December, when we'll go back to the first and third,
I-
because we don't want to fall on Christmas and Thanksgiving Eve. But yes, that would be the changes to our commission
And
schedule.
that would be, if you want to just, yeah, that's what's on there.
Will you
Sorry.
make sure Lynette puts that on social media
Oh.
as well as putting it out?
Yeah, I'll send it out to everybody as soon as it's okayed.
Okay.
Great.
So I'd entertain a motion that we adopt the holiday schedule, the landfill schedule, and the meeting schedule for commission for next year 2025.
So moved.
I'll second it.
A motion from Commissioner Summers, a second from Commissioner Bingham to accept the holiday, landfill, and meeting schedule for the commission for next year. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye, motion passes. Okay. Next item is recognition for Crash Responder Safety Week, which we're in the middle of right now. It's November 18th to the 22nd. It's being held this week. I know our governor just did a declaration, I believe yesterday, that came out recognizing Crash Responder Safety Week in the state of Utah. We have a declaration here as well for Box Elder County to recognize Crash Responder Safety Week here in Box Elder County. Recognizing our first responders, all those who out there, going out there doing the job, and suggesting that we would support, and we'll continue to educate them, but we want the public to slow down, move over, and give those first responders the due diligence and the due appreciation that we have for our first responders as they're out there dealing with horrific situations out on our county and state and city roads. So with that, I would accept the motion to put forward a recognition of Crash Responder Safety Week in Box Elder County of November 18th through the 22nd.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion from Commissioner Bingham, a second from Commissioner Summers. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion passes. All right, that'll take care of that. We'll move on to Community Development, Resolution 2417, Scott Lyons.
All right. A couple months ago, we brought a resolution before you updating our fee schedule. We had a fee study done earlier this year in the spring and summer, and that was completed. Anyway, on that resolution that we had done, one of the items we failed to put on it was a permitted use review application. Somehow we just left it off, so that's added to this. And then a new fee that we've added on here. We found a way to streamline a review process that, as opposed to sending people through an amended subdivision application that costs $900, it now can just be done through a lot line adjustment review. And we put that into the model that was supplied by our consultant, and that fee is $150. So those are the two added to this via this resolution.
Okay, any discussion?
So Scott, can you explain that a little bit, the differences between a lot line adjustment and the other proposal you were mentioning?
The amended subdivision?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's essentially the way state code is written. It's not. I should say there's somewhat of a gray area, and we sat down as staff and we reviewed it multiple times and came to the conclusion that it could be done this way. We checked with the ombudsman's office, and they as well agreed with us that this is their interpretation of it. And so that's the proposal is to take them through this process as opposed to the previous process.
So that means you're just adjusting a lot line rather than redoing the whole proposed subdivision? Is that what you're saying?
Correct. So previously, we would require a full subdivision plat, so a new survey, new subdivision plat, showing how those lot lines were being adjusted. And there's two sections of state code that this falls under, and one references the other. And I think it was last year that the legislature attempted to modify the state code to make this process simpler. They didn't do a great job of it, and that's why I say it's kind of grayish as far as the interpretation goes. But the ombudsman, they said essentially their interpretation of it, based on how it's written, they feel they're comfortable interpreting it this way, as well as they were involved in the amendment process and understood the intent of the amendment when it took place, when the legislature made that amendment. So
when you do a lot line adjustment, do you still have to have a survey, right? Or no?
No, you do have to have legal descriptions. So those legal descriptions can be acquired through a survey, or they can be acquired through, a title company will sometimes write legal descriptions for individuals. So as long as they have legal descriptions that are reviewed by, we have the county GIS office review those legal descriptions to ensure that they're correct prior to recording.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, if there's no further discussion, I'd accept the motion to accept Resolution 2417.
So moved.
I'll second it.
I have a motion from Commissioner Summers, a second from Commissioner Bingham to accept Resolution 2417. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion passes. Okay, that moves us on to Road Department. Agreement 2442.
Trying to slam my knees again. Darren McFarland, Road Department.
Fit underneath that?
No, not very well. Smack my knees every time. So this is the agreement between us and Stapp Construction. Those are the contractors that are we selected to complete this project. It's a culvert replacement of a culvert that failed on 12,000 North. They call it East Tremonton. It's 12,000 North, just east of Highway 13. This contractor's, we gave them the option to do precast or cast in place. We chose this one because the cast in place. We know that it can be finished prior to irrigation water being turned in the spring, where the other option, we had some concerns about getting that done before the April 15th deadline.
Okay. Any discussion from commissioners about this agreement 2442 to get the project, to get that replacement of the collapsed bridge culvert at 120 North over the Bear River Canal?
So is there a bid, Darren, or how much?
I don't remember the exact amount.
But yeah, there was a bid.
9 bidders.
Opened it up.
7 bid on the precast option, 2 bid on the cast in place option. It's around $750,000, but that's not the exact amount. I apologize. I didn't bring the bid tab with me.
So how does that compare to the segmented thing that you were talking about?
It is more than the segmented thing.
But the other one was going to take longer type thing? Is that what you're saying?
So the suppliers, there's 3 vendors in the state for that size box culvert. They call it a precast. 2 of them can guarantee they would not be able to provide it until May 15th. The other 2, at best case scenario, was middle to end of February. and that would not get enough time for the contractors to set them in place prior to the canal needing to turn their irrigation canal back on. So our concern was to, if we have the slightest problem, we could have some major liabilities with the farming community, I believe. The cast in place is a better product when it's completed. It's one solid piece rather than segmented.
I'll make a motion to approve the 24-42 project related to the removal and replacement of the Clap Bridge in East Tremonton.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion, Commissioner Summers, to approve agreement 2442 for the project related to removal and replacement of the Claps Bridge culvert. Have a second from Commissioner Bingham. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I will point out, before we go to our public comment, I just forgot to mention this earlier, when we did pass the resolution on Crash Responder Safety Week, this is the the end of this week will be the 8-year anniversary since we lost one of our state troopers, Eric Ellsworth. And so it's very appropriate we as a county support that process because of the fact that we did have one of our own in our community that lost their life in this type of a situation. So just wanted to point that out. So with that, we're going to go to public comment. We have 3 that have signed up for public comment at this point. And we're going to start with Deanna Hardy. Again, those wishing to make public comment need to sign, which they've done. Speakers will be given 1 3-minute opportunity to speak regardless of the number of items, and speakers shall address their comments to the county commission only. There's not a back and forth dialogue, and then they can file any copies with the county clerk if they choose to. So Deanna.
Okay, Deanna Hardy-Brigham. The Box Elder Committee of Liberty is concerned with all the taxpayer dollars we're spending on IT and staff. Why is our video system failing for 3 meetings in a row? October 23rd, November 6th, and November 13th. It was audio only. Why were public comments erased from the 10/23 meeting? I have witnessed since the new video audio system has been implemented, the many problems technology has had. We should consider going back to a paper agenda with audio recording like we used to do, so that we'll save the taxpayer hundreds of thousands of their dollars. The Box Elder Committee of Liberty opposes all businesses that are coming into our county and seeking a public-private partnership. Remember, public-private partnerships are fascism, and fascism is contrary to our republic form of government. Quoting from the Utah Constitution, Article 12, Section 20, it states, "It is the policy of the state of Utah that a free market system shall govern trade and commerce in this state to promote the dispersion of economic and political power and the general welfare of all the people. Each contract, combination in the form of trust or otherwise, or conspiracy in restraint of trade or commerce is prohibited. Except as otherwise provided by statute, it is also prohibited for any person to monopolize, attempt to monopolize, or combine or conspire with any other person or persons to monopolize any part of trade or commerce. We ask you to follow the rules of our Constitution, which each of you took an oath of office to support, obey, and defend. The evil agenda is to destroy capitalism or the free market system. Capitalism or the free market system has lifted more citizens out of poverty than any other system. Let us protect and preserve it. If you truly believe in liberty and justice for all, please stop public-private partnerships. Thank you."
Thank you. Okay. All right, next we have Jeff Saunders. Did you want to come and speak again, or you?
I will.
Okay, come on up.
Yeah, I already spoke concerning the bookmobile, but I wanted to reiterate my comments that I believe the bookmobile is an essential service for the county. As it's been stated, it's been here 65 years and helped countless generations and countless numbers of people with learning and reading and expanding their knowledge. I akin it to busing of the children. We don't stop busing from the rural areas just because they don't live in the city next to the school. The bookmobile provides an essential system for learning for those that live outside of the 3 library cities, which is a lot of the county. We have a large county. A lot of the elderly folks that are out there rely upon the bookmobile also. My mother delivers Meals on Wheels up in Tremont and area and out in Thatcher and Penrose, and a lot of those people rely on the bookmobile also. So I just want to reiterate my support for it and remind everybody that it is an essential service. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. And the last person who signed up is Fred Hayes. Fred.
Thank you. Thank you. Fred Hayes, Bear River Precinct. I'd like to start out by saying I support Deanne Hardy's comments about public-private partnerships. I would like to thank the clerk and the election office for the work on the election this year. They do a great job, and they do just exactly what they're supposed to do. I would like to address the Canvas certificate that was approved. I presume it was approved this
Correct.
morning?
Yep.
And we need to go back to single-day voting, paper ballots hand-counted, so that they witnessed in our precincts. The certificate can't be supported by any witness ballot counts. And accordingly, I feel like wittingly or unwittingly, it's a fraud on the people to declare that the election was accurate. So I've submitted just a little flyer comparing, if we're going to have electronic voting machines in use, I submitted a flyer today comparing slot machines versus electronic voting machines. And, if you look at, neither system is free from the ability to be manipulated, but the state of Nevada's, their gaming commission does a lot better job at monitoring the electronic use of electronics in a system similar to a voting system. So once again, I'd like to thank the election office for the good work that they do, and with that, I'll conclude.
Thank you. Okay. With that, there's no closed session needs, right? Okay. With that, I would entertain one final motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. We're
Aye.
adjourned. Thanks, Boyd. Have a good trip.
Okay, thanks.